In the unforgiving world of combat sports, few stories resonate with the brutal beauty and relentless spirit quite like the journey of Naoya Inoue. A fighter who stood defiantly against doubters, who humiliated those who underestimated him, and who dismantled the illusions of bullies convinced that size and bravado would outweigh skill, heart, and sheer will. Across multiple chapters of his extraordinary career, men who believed they were bigger, stronger, and more imposing, quickly learned that true boxing greatness could not be measured by muscle mass alone. Their dreams crumbled in front of roaring crowds, their confidence shattered under the weight of Inoue's surgical precision and devastating power. This is not merely the story of a champion. It is the legend of a warrior who carried the spirit of boxing glory into every battle, forcing even the most arrogant challengers to pay a heavy, career-altering price for their disrespect. It began early, during the formative years when Inoue, slight of build and modest in demeanor, encountered jeers from bigger men who scoffed at the idea that someone like him could stand among the giants of professional boxing. They laughed at his size, mocked his frame, and sneered that he should bulk up if he ever hoped to survive at the elite level. They dismissed his technique as the fancy footwork of a boy playing a man's game. Yet behind the humility, behind the reserved expression lurked a predator, an assassin who understood that the true essence of boxing was not about who looked the part, but who mastered the art of destruction with both mind and body. The first, unforgettable chapter in this saga unfolded in 2018, when Naoya Inoue entered the prestigious World Boxing Super Series. In the quarterfinals, he faced a confident, seasoned opponent in Juan Carlos Payano, a fighter from the Dominican Republic, nicknamed Baby Pacquiao. Payano carried himself with a swagger born from experience, having never been knocked out in his professional career. He entered the ring exuding arrogance, convinced that his aggression and durability would overwhelm Inoue's smaller frame. He planned to pressure Inoue relentlessly, confident that the Japanese fighter could not handle an all-out assault. As the two fighters stood across from each other, the contrast was stark. Payano appeared energized, animated, almost dismissive. Inoue, by contrast, was ice-cold. When the opening bell rang, Inoue didn't rush into battle. He moved methodically like a mechanical predator studying its prey. Every movement Payano made was recorded, analyzed, and stored in Inoue's mind. Within moments, Payano, believing he could bully Inoue, pushed forward aggressively, attempting to smother him under a barrage of punches. But what happened next unfolded with terrifying speed. In a flash, Inoue unleashed a perfectly timed 1-2 combination, a right hand followed instantly by a vicious left hook. The blows landed flush, short-circuiting Payano's senses. The Dominican crumpled to the canvas in an instant, his body twisted awkwardly as he struggled to comprehend what had just occurred. The fight was over almost before it had begun. It took Inoue a mere 70 seconds to destroy a man who had never before been stopped. Payano had gambled on size and aggression, but he never had a chance to realize that Inoue's precision and speed were forces of nature. The brutal knockout would later be voted the Ring magazine's knockout of the year, and Inoue's legend grew. Smiling gently, he hoisted his infant son in the ring, a rare moment of softness amid the destruction he had just unleashed. Years passed, but Inoue's appetite for dismantling those who doubted him remained insatiable. Fast forward to July 25, 2023, when Naoya Inoue, now recognized as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, sought a new challenge. He moved up in weight to the super bantamweight division to face Stephen "Coolboy" Steph Fulton, an undefeated champion with a towering reputation. Many analysts predicted that Fulton would be Inoue's greatest test, primarily because of his physical advantages. Fulton was taller, broader, and had a reach advantage that had stifled numerous opponents before. In the build-up to the fight, Fulton exuded confidence. He openly questioned Inoue's record, hinting that the Japanese fighter's success was the product of weaker competition and national hype. He suggested that power alone would not suffice against a fighter of his intelligence and skill. He boasted that he would expose Inoue's weaknesses. Their face-offs crackled with tension, with Fulton attempting to intimidate Inoue through cold, intense stares and whispered taunts that required intervention from officials. It was clear this was more than a title bout. It was a clash of pride, will, and identity. When fight night arrived, the energy inside the arena was electric. As the bell rang to signal the first round, it became immediately evident that Fulton had made a grievous error in judgment. Inoue's punches reverberated through the arena like gunshots. Each jab, each hook, each body shot landed with frightening force. His hands moved with the speed and precision of a machine designed solely for destruction, while his footwork left Fulton swinging at air. By the end of the second round, Inoue had already dissected Fulton's rhythm, movements, and defensive patterns. Fulton tried to rally in the third round, attempting to box Inoue from range and counterpunch. But Inoue's anticipation was a step ahead. Every opening Fulton thought he created was met with brutal counters that punished him immediately. Inoue didn't just beat Fulton to the punch. He systematically broke him down, delivering body shots that sapped his strength and headshots that rattled his senses. As the rounds wore on, the physical toll on Fulton became glaringly obvious. The taller man, who had once looked so imposing, now resembled a wounded animal trapped in a cage with a predator. In the eighth round, Inoue unleashed a masterful sequence. A jab to the body froze Fulton momentarily, lowering his guard just enough for Inoue to launch a missile-like right hand to the head. Fulton crashed to the canvas, dazed and broken. Though he bravely attempted to rise, Inoue pounced with a ruthless barrage of punches that forced the referee to intervene. The fight was mercifully stopped. Inoue once again had dismantled a bigger, cockier opponent, proving that boxing mastery and iron will dwarfed mere size. But Inoue's thirst for conquest was far from sated. New challengers emerged, men who believed, like so many before them, that size and power could neutralize skill and heart. Among them was Kim Ya-jun, a heavily muscled Korean boxer who stepped forward to face Inoue on January 24, 2025. Kim, like others before him, believed that raw physicality would triumph where others had failed. He entered the ring confident, convinced that he could impose his will through brute force. From the moment the fight began, it was clear that Kim had badly miscalculated. Inoue, walking to the ring with a calm, ominous aura, wasted no time asserting dominance. A thunderous straight right to the body immediately shook Kim's foundations, quickly followed by a sequence of brutal rights to the head that left the Korean fighter reeling. Kim tried to fight back, attempting to press forward with wild aggression, but Inoue's counters were surgical, vicious, and utterly demoralizing. At one point, in a moment of staggering hubris, Kim mockingly invited Inoue to hit him harder. Smirking faintly, Inoue obliged, launching a left hook right-hand combination, so devastating that it sent Kim sprawling to the canvas. The crowd gasped as the replay revealed the sheer, bone-rattling force of the final blow. Kim's dreams of glory evaporated in an instant, leaving only pain and regret in their wake. Another challenger had been destroyed, another lesson written, in blood and agony. Yet even after these brutal triumphs, Inoue's journey continued. In September 2024, he squared off against TJ Doheny, a veteran fighter who, despite his own size disadvantages, believed he could use grit and toughness to outlast the monster. Doheny entered the ring with a cocky swagger, dropping his hands and taunting Inoue in the early rounds, hoping to bait him into mistakes. It proved to be another catastrophic error. Inoue took his time, methodically breaking Doheny down with savage body shots that landed with sickening thuds. Each round, Doheny's resilience eroded further under the relentless assault. By the end of the sixth round, the damage was visible. Doheny clutched his back in visible agony, grimacing as he staggered to his corner. His body was failing him. Early in the seventh, Inoue closed the show with a brutal combination that sent Doheny collapsing in pain, desperately reaching for his back. Ringside medics rushed in to attend to him. Doheny's spirit had been broken. His body had given out, under the relentless surgical destruction Inoue had inflicted. In the aftermath, Naoya Inoue stood tall, his face a portrait of grim satisfaction. His mission had been accomplished yet again, to prove that boxing greatness transcends size, muscle, and arrogance. Throughout his career, Every opponent who had disrespected him learned the hard way that appearances deceive, and that true warriors are defined not by their frames, but by the fire that burns within, by the mastery of their craft, and by the heart that refuses to yield. Naoya Inoue's journey remains one of the most awe-inspiring tales in modern combat sports. His fights are a testament to the philosophy that boxing glory belongs not to those who look the part, but to those who embody the discipline, skill, and ruthless spirit needed to dominate at the highest levels. Inoue stands as a living legend, a reminder that in the end, heart and precision will always triumph over muscle and bravado. For fans who have followed this brutal yet inspiring saga, there is still so much more to come. Naoya Inoue continues to forge a legacy that will be remembered for generations. If you want to experience even more epic tales of the monster's rise, dominance, and unrelenting pursuit of greatness, make sure to explore the other videos on this channel. Smash that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for every bone-shattering, spine-snapping moment from one of boxing's true modern legends.